Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. My name is Hannibal. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on another live stream. We have a lot to get into today. I see a few people already in the chat, seeing all the same faces I've been seeing the last couple of weeks. I really appreciate you guys for coming through. And I would say right now, we are almost at 50,000 subscribers. I thank all of you for riding with me over the last 4 years. Like many of you guys that have been checking out this channel for since the inception. Appreciate you, and all the newcomers appreciate you as well. Yes, the podcast. I don't think there would be much of a podcast with the Tiffany Henyard, but you'll never know. But so far, I've been looking, haven't seen the podcast, and anyone who's the first person who finds it, please let me know so I can watch it myself. But we have a lot to get into. But first, if you see the pin link, you would see the GoFundMe for Dr. Scott. Let me show that. Let me pop it up on the main screen just so you guys can see. Anything is appreciated, obviously, but I think Tommy put this up earlier yesterday, and it's already past the $10,000 goal. But more anything can help. Obviously, going back, Tommy G. If you guys didn't check out his video, the video was it was a movie. I mean, it was just so it's levels to that kind of what do you call it? YouTubing, and he's definitely on the top level right there. But I just want to show you guys this real quick before we continue to go on. There's a rally around Dr. Scott. Helping her out. Just anything can help. We're almost at the $15,000 goal. Donate what you can. If you guys been checking out, following this story, Dr. Scott just going back and forth with the super mayor, doing all the kind of nonsense that it's not right. It's not helping anybody. This person is trying to help the community, and because Henyard's basically having a personal issue, she's putting this kind of nonsense out there. So if you have a chance, the link will be pinned on the top of the chat. Donate what you can. I think she's definitely is worth that fight. I already see $25 super chat from the late night crew. Appreciate you. Funny live streams. I mean, when I need to go to sleep, when I'm about to go to sleep, I check you out. Shay's out there doing the Lord's work, just funny stuff going after. He's funny. You want to check out funny commentary, especially what's going on with this and other topics. Check out the late night crew doing some great work right there. So before we're just going to jump in right now, I have a guest that's going to help us break down. She's been here before, but help us break down some of the news that's been going on with Tiffany Henyard and the tax increases, some of the financial stuff, but she's ready to jump in. She's already getting comfortable being on screen. She's all over the place. I saw her on Fox News, the Tommy G documentary. So she's basically becoming a media star herself. Stephanie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So Stephanie worked for the Thornton Township for 20 years before she was unceremoniously let go by the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. But she understands this township. She understands how it's supposed to be ran. And I'm sure she will let us know how it's not being ran properly. But we're going to go through a few topics here to kind of break down what's going on, especially that referendum that I saw yesterday, the day before, where there's mayors signing there's some mayors going against that, since the township is more of a collection of what, I think 170,000. How big is the township?
Yeah, we're right under 190,000 residents. So it's 17 communities.
17 communities. So let's just jump into with some of the invoices. I know I posted some of those invoices relating to Tiffany Henyard. There was some little issues, I guess, with the what was said on there, right?
Correct. So
yeah,
you had showed an invoice for the Crown Plaza. I believe that was the Crown Plaza Hotel. I think it was presented as if it was two separate invoices, one for Thornton Township, for the village of Dalton. But what it actually was at the time, I still, there were still some people I knew that worked there. One of the people that worked there had come across an invoice that was made out to the Village of Dalton, but it had a Thornton Township check attached to it. So it was paid by the township, even though it was billed to the village. So to prevent anybody from getting in trouble, I sent a FOIA asking for this invoice. They sent it back to me. The only difference was, instead of it being billed to the Village of Dalton, they had changed it to Thornton Township. So it was the exact same invoice, the same amount, the same everything, except for the billing at the top left-hand corner, I believe, was changed.
And I guess when you look at that, that's eyebrow raising when you know that it wasn't there first, but like someone must have changed it as they got that FOIA request. So when you saw that, when you first saw it, what you thought? What was your first thoughts?
Actually, I was quite shocked. It's one thing to just not be honest about things, but it's another thing to be, I guess, downright deceitful and dishonest. I mean, if you did it, you did it. Just send the backup and, kind of just suck it up. You made a mistake. I mean, you could have said a million things, but to alter the papers is pretty brave.
I think, and let me know if I'm wrong, but it looks like this is going to be a messier, crazier investigation because it looks like if they're able to do that, changing certain things, trying to find ways to skirt around the law, like there's a lot of documents that's going to be changed. I don't know if this is true that there's probably some people saying that some of these documents may be shredded. Like, is Tiffany Henyard actually trying to become Nito Brown at the Carter, where in the part of the movie where the Carters basically everything went to ruin, they got caught, they start burning down the building, they start throwing away all the paperwork, they destroy the entire projects. She's actually following this storyline to a T?
That's pretty much what we're living, honestly. From the other side, it slightly feels the same. There is a small group of people that benefit from her being in office. You don't get support, which in the past she has had. I mean, we've seen her numbers, which, although not outstanding, she didn't win the mayor seat with 1,000 votes. That means 1,000 people supported her. I think that you have to help some people, right? So we can't say that she's done nothing, but I think that helping a few people doesn't make it okay for you to feel entitled to take everything else.
Yeah. So let's go with some of the pale scale changes, and I'll have these documents later on. The problem is doing this when on this StreamYard, you can't see anything, and I have to start zooming in. And I think eventually I'll probably have to do another program where I can zoom in, because documents you need to see what's going on. I can just put a piece of paper there; people won't know what I'm talking about. But I'll probably put the pay scale so you guys understand what's going on. So explain it for us. Her trying to change her salary compared to the incoming supervisor salary. So explain all this and how crazy this is, and what's the rationale? What you think is what's the rationale for her to be doing what she's doing with the pay scale with her job?
So the previous pay scale, she said on one of her interviews that she didn't drastically change the pay scale, which is very untrue. She stated that the only difference was a new person coming in. She cut it from 50,000 to 25,000, but that's untrue because there were about 10 steps in between that also on the current pay scale. So it was set up by term. Like a first term supervisor made 57,000, a second term supervisor maybe 68. I don't really, off the top of my head, remember the totals, but every term it went up. The supervisor who passed away was in his 8th term. So he had gone from the first term and worked his way up to the term he was in. Because he passed away, she was able to finish his term. So she had 3 years of collecting his salary. Now, a lot of people have asked, why hasn't she changed the salary? You know, it's a lot of money. But legally, she really can't change pay midterm. It's voted on in the prior term, and it just has to stick that through the term. You can't vote to change pay midterm. So she fairly gets his salary. It was set up the same way for the trustees. Every term, the trustees' pay went up.
Okay.
So what would have happened in 2025 had she run and won, she would have dropped down to the salary of a first term supervisor because she was no longer in his term. So it would have put her at that $57,000 salary, which is why she wanted to change it. You know, she walked in on a salary that he worked for, and now she feels entitled to it. And that's not how it should work. And she voted to make sure that it stayed that way. And she also stated in that interview that she cut it from 50,000 to 25 because everybody was saying they made too much. But then why would her salary stay at 224,000? Why wouldn't hers be cut then? Because we didn't think the first term was too much. We think you keeping that salary that you didn't work for is too much.
Yeah, she's trying to twist words and put things so she can use that as an argument. Well, everyone said that we're getting paid too much. Was like, no, it's directly towards you continuing with a salary that you didn't earn. I mean, actually, let me see if maybe I could pop it up real quick. I know it could be small to see, but maybe I can see exactly. Okay. You may not be able to see this on your phone.
No, we can see it.
Oh, you can see it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she came in on, because, you know, someone unfortunately passed away. Okay. She jumps in, finish out the term. So he finished out that amount of money earned. But she should be, after that term is over, should go to at least the second term, or
no, first term.
No, it should go straight to the first, even if because you finished someone else's term,
you
was
get
your own term.
Yep.
And she should be at, okay. And she decided, I like this amount of money. I will just continue to earn this amount of money without being there for, 8 terms. You have to be there for a minute to demonstrate that you actually know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You are a great leader. I'm assuming at least you're showing some level because you're continue to get voted in. But she wanted to maintain her, 6-figure lifestyle.
Right.
So that's what she decided to do. Okay. And that's extremely important to understand just the pattern of a behavior that looks like she makes sure that she takes care of herself before she takes care of everybody else.
Yep.
Let me see. Does she have any commitment to fiscal responsibility? Does she understand what fiscal responsibility is? I'm trying to figure out.
So my opinion on that, honestly, is, I've been here for a long time. I've seen a lot of things. I have personally watched this woman run 3 businesses to the ground, and now a village, and the township is on the same road. So to answer your question, my guess would be no. She has no financial intelligence at all.
So, it's right there. A lot of this is just right there, open for everyone to see. So I know that those who still are, looking to support her, a lot of this stuff is right there for everyone to see. So, everyone can decide for their own, interpretation of what's going on. But the travel expenses, some of the details that's been coming from this. Let's just go from the beginning. What would be considered a normal travel expense? So I don't know. I don't have information, but maybe you do, like, in terms of someone else, the past township supervisor or the past mayors. How much would you, if you can guess, how much money they spent on travel? Like, I'm wondering, like, because this is extreme. I think everyone realizes when you're traveling to Vegas, you're traveling to New York, you're traveling, you're spending hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars going to Springfield, like, you're doing all this. That's not normal. But I'm wondering, what would be normal expenses?
Well, I guess it it depends on the type of leadership that's in place, maybe. The previous supervisor, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. There was some travel. He went to Springfield 2, maybe 3 times a year. Both of the conferences that they attended were TOI conferences, which is the Township Officials of Illinois. So they were directly related to township business. Yep. He did take a group of employees with him, specifically our general assistance department. I'm going to guess it probably ran maybe 8 to 10,000. But, you know, that's for 12 to 15 people. Yeah. So, but it wasn't, you know, Vegas, Portland, Austin. I mean, the list goes on and on. He went to Springfield. I think in the 20 years I was there, he may have went to DC once. And then, of course, there was the infamous South Carolina trip, which, you know, nobody's perfect. That trip in particular made headlines for us. It was a good cause, but, you know, not everybody agrees. So they went and they presented a Nobel Peace Prize when the shooting happened at the church in South Carolina. So a group of them went down. There was pastors, there was, you know, counselors. It was a very good cause, but people didn't think that taxpayer money should have been spent on that. So of course there were, you know, headlines about it. It, you know, eventually blew over. And like I said, nobody's perfect. My boss wasn't perfect. Mistakes happen. You learn from them. You move forward. When it's not a mistake is when you constantly see the same thing happening over and over.
Right. Like we say, the pattern of traveling for it. She's saying it's to bring money back, but we're not. But it looks like a lot of it just based on her ego and just spending a lot of money. Real quick question. I got $1.99 super chat from Anton. Appreciate you. Is she a full-time or part-time supervisor mayor? So that's a question that's been brought up in terms of the salary, going back to the salary for the supervisor of how much you get paid if you're full-time compared to part-time. And I'm guessing she's making sure that she's letting everyone know that she's getting full-time. So in her official capacity, she's full-time or part-time?
She is full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two positions, full-time.
Her village seat is part-time. The mayor's seat is part-time. I know in her interview, she said that both seats were part-time. I was kind of thrown off by that myself, but the pay, I mean, she said her pay several times in that interview also. The pay is the full-time pay. So we can see, based on what you just put up, that the seat is a full-time seat. I don't know why she said part-time, but her mayor's seat is a part-time seat.
Gotcha. Thank you for that clarification. But speaking about the trips, and like you said, you said the former township supervisor went to DC, but is it possible to clarify who, you know, she went out to, this was probably her best, I guess, funnest trip ever. This is the culmination of, she finally made it. She went to Washington, D.C., hung out with that old guy, President Joe Biden, took pictures, selfies. She somehow was able to get in the front row. She was so happy. Yep. So yeah, who paid for that trip? Did she come out of her pocket for that? Like, what do you think if you had an idea?
Well, I don't have to know the township paid for it. I know for a fact the township paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. They paid for her way to get there. Let me say, I would assume, I haven't seen the credit card yet, but trust I'll FOIA it as soon as it's available. But what I did see was it was a mayor trip. So there was payments on the township warrant list that said U.S. mayors. So they paid the entrance fee for the conference. Yeah. I saw the hotels. So I know some of it's there, but that was definitely a Dalton trip that was not paid for by the village or out of her own pocket.
And would you consider this a personal trip?
I would have considered it a village trip. She was invited as a mayor.
Yeah. So how does this blending of township and village resources for these trips like affect how she's doing business in terms of being, the governance, like her trying to run this? Like, is it just becoming so confusing and convoluted? Or maybe like you said, you're there, you've been in this for a long time, but blending these resources all over the place seems confusing to me. But what's your thoughts?
It is very confusing and illegal. You can't commingle tax dollars. That's not how this works, or
Yeah.
resources for that matter. Every township event she has in the village of Dalton. So do you know what that means for the village taxpayers?
Yeah.
That means overtime for public works, overtime for police officers. Like, this is costing them every time she does it. So it
Right.
really isn't fair to them, first of all, and not fair to the rest of Thornton Township. What about the other 16 communities? What those taxpayers, every time they want to go somewhere, they have to come to Dalton? What about the Lansing that lives, all the way on the other end of the border? Like, not everybody wants to have to go that far. Maybe some people just want to be able to go up the street once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, she's representing the entire, more than just what she's, but again, going back to that idea that it's really what's around her is what's most important, right? Everything needs to be around her. She needs to be the
Well,
center of attention.
yep. And she does it
Yeah, go ahead.
because, I'm sorry, but she does it because her police are there. She can't get away with the stuff she
Yeah.
does to people in any other community.
Yeah. And I saw that with the I call it a documentary and I call it a YouTube video, but with Tommy G, that was a documentary. And how Jeff police chief Lacey, how he treated people who just looking to, again, being in a property with that taxpayers are paying, and telling people to leave, and being, trying to put that aggressive tone and that aggressive stance on things. I'm assuming as she gets more criticism, the more insulated she's going to be. So she's going to be around those people that, she thinks are protecting her.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that using a police force against residents is what I would call protection. But
Good point. Good point. Good
yeah.
point. So we're talking about the township. She represents, or she presents these events that she does as accomplishments. Like, she likes to talk about all these little things that she's building and here and there. And I know some people who support her say that things are getting paid, things are getting done. But can you provide examples that how such events are just incorrectly attributed to the Village of Dalton efforts? I feel like it's still that complicated thing that's going on between what's actually happening, transparency, the honesty between what's going on. But what is the issue with the township events and that relationship between the township and the village? What is happening? Like, I guess we were talking about before, but that accurate representation of the public events, the achievements, what's going on.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about that.
She likes to present these township events as if they're things she's done through the village. When I was at the last board meeting for the village, she was extra I don't even know the word, but the media was there, so she was definitely in her
passionate,
prime,
a little excited, a little hyper than usual, which is very high for her.
Yeah.
She's extremely hyper, but yeah.
So she listed all of these things that I've done, all these great things here in the village of Dalton, and I'm an awesome mayor. And then she lists all these things, and I'm standing there and I'm like, well, these were all township events. None of them were village of Dalton events. So, I think that's deceitful for people who don't understand the difference, because those aren't things she's doing as the mayor. Those are things she's doing as the township supervisor. It just looks like she's doing them as the mayor because they're all in Dalton.
And I think that's why when she decided to go on those trips on her press tour, she went to Roland Martin, who didn't research, had no idea who she was, or maybe I don't think so. I don't know what went down there. And then she went to Angela Lee, that does most radio work for New York. We don't know. So, because they mentioned it, we watched the news. It says, okay, she's a supervisor here, she's a mayor, but we refer to her as a mayor. So when she does these, she talks about these events, we're assuming, well, I guess everyone's benefiting, but there are two different positions. There's a bigger group of people that she's representing. Yep. So it's easy for her to lie to us because we don't really know.
Right. But presenting those events as Dalton events is, it's also a form of co-mingling, just like the paying the Dalton bills with township money. I also co-mingling. I believe that. So on these credit card statements, it's really funny what you can find. I see that in one of the trips that they went to, Jerry Jones, who is a township trustee, of course, went on this trip, which, I mean, it was a Vegas trip. It was for economic development. I personally don't think the township should be paying for any of that, given we have no land to economically develop. We don't own land. That's not the role of a supervisor. She keeps saying she's over these mayors. I'm over 17 mayors, and they're all men. Well, one's a woman, and you're not over them. She's not over them. She has no say in anything that happens in any municipality. She provides services to those communities. She has no control over them. Like, she has no say. Honestly, 90% of the mayors don't even speak to her. So it's not.
I mean, clearly, there's definitely there's definitely an issue between how she's doing business, and a lot of people are just not with that. They're not dealing with that. So it's like there's so much ethical issues, considerations surrounding the use of village funds for non-affiliated individuals, like you're saying from Jerry Jones' wife going to Vegas. What purpose does that have for anybody, or at least the taxpayers?
Yeah. So a couple things with that. He's paid for by the township. Okay, so we can justify that. And on the credit card statement, I can see then there's a canceled flight for him, a United canceled flight, and then a rebooked Southwest flight. Well, that's weird because they never fly Southwest. It's almost always United or Delta. And so in some conversations and some stuff, I get, a village credit card statement. On that credit card statement, it's a Mary Jones. Mary Jones is Jerry Jones's wife. She does not work for the village, so them paying for her airline ticket is questionable, because why would we do that? So again, this just goes to the co-mingling, because I mean, one can only assume that the conversation was, Jerry wants his wife to go. People FOIA the township credit cards, pay for her on the village credit card. Like, I don't know that that's what happened. That's just my opinion. Let me be clear on that. But either way, it's not something that the village taxpayers should have to pay for at all.
Yeah, it just seems like again, when you look at the patterns of deceitfulness and lack of transparency, then we all our minds starts to wonder, like, okay, well, if you did it 4 or 5 dozen times over here, well, if we just caught something, well, most likely that's possible that's going to be the same issue. So I do understand when you look at that, you're like, yeah, this looks like this is probably going to happen. I saw a question. I forgot. I don't know if it was Nikita that said it, but like, who paid for the public service? Oh, no, the PR for which she should get those people their money back. I don't know what they thought they were doing by putting her out there. But I guess it's great for investigators, but not for her. But do you have an idea? Like, you think taxpayers are paying for the PR firm?
Absolutely. They're paying for several PR firms. I mean, it's all in the board books. It's all on the warrant list. I see it every month. It's very expensive. Unbelievably expensive.
I mean, just off the top of your head, how much money you think is this PR firm? Again, they're doing good work for us. The devil spirit, apparently, like everyone that's against her, but not for, like, how much money you can ballpark that she has paid these people. Or actually, no, the taxpayer has paid this PR firm.
You mean total that I've seen over time, or monthly? It's averaging,
just if you like a ballpark it.
It's averaging about $20,000 a month.
Wow. I'm in the wrong business. I should be a PR firm. I could just, it's 25, 20, that's a good amount of money.
And that's
but
with
unfortunately,
a new PR firm was just brought on, and their initial payment was like 20 grand in itself. So once I start seeing monthly invoices for that, I'm sure that 20 grand a month might go up.
Yeah, Roland Martin isn't cheap. Just fucking. It doesn't matter. I think Roland Martin likes me a whole lot. So I don't know if you want to get into this referendum and the mental health programs. I saw this a couple of days. I think I saw it yesterday, and saw some residents talking about it. I think some were for it, some were against it. But some of the suburban mayors are telling people to vote no on a new tax for mental health services because they don't trust the person asking for the money, which is the mayor. So the tax will cost homeowners an extra $42 a year for a $100,000 home to fund mental health facilities and services in Illinois' largest township, which is Thornton Township. So 11 mayors, let's say 2 Cook County commissioners and a state senator wrote this letter against the tax, saying it's calling it unnecessary, calling it duplicating existing services. It also said that Henyard shouldn't be trusted with the money because of her past spending issues. So I know you want to talk about this because I think she's also, Tiffany Henyard is not the best politician, but she kind of has some idea of, well, I'm just trying to help people. Mental health is important. So I'm just raising taxes to help people, blah, blah, blah. And, that kind of thing that some people may fall for when you hear her talk about, like, yeah, mental health is a good idea. So I know you want to talk more about that, but give me your thoughts on this whole situation here.
Well, you were right on the numbers, 42,000 for a $100,000 house, but maybe 17% of the houses in Thornton Township are worth $100,000. So we're talking about a bit more money for most people.
Gotcha.
So I think, it's unfair. It is a flat rate of 0.15%. So depending on what the value of your house is, it would be that percentage. Not many are worth 100,000. As post COVID, not much is worth 100,000 at this point. Prices of everything has gone up. So, there's not many houses here that are at that price. And I think the thing that gets me the most about this is that I know what that department, the Youth and Family Services Department for Thornton Township, I think I know what that used to offer. I know what it brought to the community, what services it had, what programs it ran. And we were providing mental health services. And she fired a counselor passed away, and then the director of the department passed away. And then she fired 3 of the counselors. Well, 2 of the counselors, and one was a program manager. He ran all the youth programs. So you eliminated the very department that you say means the most to you, and you didn't replace these people. Counseling services aren't available at the township right now, but you guys, Thornton Township residents, are already paying a levy for that service, but that service isn't being provided. Right. It's really unfortunate that she misspends the money and then expects us to pick up the tab. Just in salaries, you freed up $500,000 in that department. You can hire people that could provide the mental health services that you need within that budget, but you want more. I don't think that the residents deserve that. And when they voted it down last year, because she had it on the ballot last year and she lost, that should have told her how people felt. It's not that we don't want the mental health services. We do. We just want the money to go to somebody we trust that is going to do right by it.
Gotcha. That's why she's facing opposition. It's not necessarily it's her history with the taxpayer money for her personal benefit, like the first class travel, and and only a few of the trustees who have been loyal to her enjoy those benefits, but the rest of the community that may need the mental health, they need all these services. She spends so much money. She's trying to use taxation as a way to get some more money back into the pot there. So
Yep.
I could see that, but like I said, politics is not, sometimes her being the loudest voice, sometimes she can craft this into, I'm just here to help you, even though has not helped for the past years doing what she's been doing. I feel like she's like a really bad party promoter with that's like had like daddy's credit card bill and ran up all the money and didn't really get any value from all of the things that she's spending. But she likes to promote herself, but the promotion hasn't equaled to the amount of money that she spent to anything of value. I mean, is that an accurate representation of her?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? Do you think it's going to pass you, or people? What do you think? As you said, it happened last time she did it. It was no. What do you think is going to happen this time?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question. What'd you say?
Oh, so the vote will be coming up soon. Do you think it's going to be another no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and
Okay.
this time I actually think we'll win by more. I am actively working against this.
Gotcha.
I
How did it almost win the first time, or was it a big difference?
No, it was actually closer than I thought it was going to be. I really thought the gap would be bigger. I don't remember the numbers, but it didn't fail horribly. I feel like this time it is going to fail horribly.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll definitely want to keep I guess tab on that situation. It's so many situations with her, multiple lawsuits from employees. It's a lot going on. Clearly, I know there's some stories about some employees that have been that sued her recently. Are you familiar with that? I hadn't had a chance to check that video out.
I am. I didn't really. Well, there were three. Two were village employees, and one was a township employee. Yeah.
Okay.
The township employee, I mean, I did work with her. She was the HR manager for, I think, the last 5 or 6 years at the township.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
So
very nice lady.
just more lawsuits that she gonna have to have to deal
and,
with.
and there's more coming. There's more coming. I mean, the amount of wrong things that she has done to people and the reasons behind doing them is just, it's unbelievable how actually childish this is. You didn't do what I wanted you to do, so, well, I'm going to fire you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. But she's wrong. There is things that people can do about it. You can't tell somebody who they have to hire on their elected official board. Like, she's actually telling people that they have to hire the attorney that she wants, that they have to hire the employees that I mean, those aren't your decisions to make, ma'am. There's a board in place for a reason, and you're not on it.
Yeah. It seems like she doesn't understand the checks and balances. Like, you could be upset that they don't do what you ask, but it doesn't work that way. You're not the CEO of a company, or you're not, it doesn't work that way. There's even a CEO, there's checks and balances, there's shareholders, there's people there telling you. So she doesn't understand that kind of breakdown of power, the command of power. That chain command. She doesn't understand that. So we'll definitely see what's going in the future. But also there's a question here, a 20 super chat from George. Appreciate you asking you the future for Tiffany Henyard. What scenario do you think is going to happen? Does she complete her term? Does something else happens? Like, we've seen how some corrupt officials get prosecuted. Some takes a long time. Some it happens after they've served. But if you had to, I guess you have a scenario in your head, what do you think is going to happen?
Just knowing how things work, I think that she'll finish her term, I believe, because even if the people do come in and pick her up, and you know how trials are, you're innocent until proven guilty. So nobody can remove her from the seat because she's been charged, right? So she's going to stay in the seat even if she is charged. And I feel like her attorneys are like pros at continuing cases. So it'll just be prolonged and prolonged. And you know, so we'll make it to February of 2025. But I think the plus side to that is we get to beat her in the election and then watch how the court case ends. It's a win-win
and
for me.
that investigation will continue. I'm assuming even if she does lose, that there's things they've done wrong, that's something that needs to be accountable for. So in your head, there's no way she's going to step down, despite, I mean, she's been sued so many times. There's other stuff that, you know, is going, that's investigating. All this stuff is going on. You think she's going to just stick it out and just keep going until she has to, I guess, have to deal with being elected again?
Yeah, I think she's going to keep acting like she's doing nothing wrong.
That is scary stuff. But it seems like, I mean, that's because we could tell, it seems like she's being pretty defiant. But appreciate you for coming through. We kind of went through a little bit of everything. I'm going to definitely, when I do this edit, and kind of, we'll put in some of the things that she said, some of the documents, so we, you know, everyone can understand exactly what we're talking about. So you show that, you know, we're not making this up. There's stuff happening that's pretty corrupt and shady, at least for the smaller part, just shady. So we'll have more information on the recut. But I appreciate you, Stephanie, for coming through. Say hi to your dogs. I know they said hi earlier, a little bit, but I appreciate you coming through.
They would bark.
You know, dogs got to make themselves known no matter what's happening. They don't care, which is great. That's their spirit. They're awesome. So appreciate you. You're always welcome back. You know, just always let me know when you want to come through.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thank you, Stephanie Wiedemann, long-term township staffer, went there 20 years, seen how crazy all this stuff is. So appreciate her for coming through. I think I missed a super chat. KC Cat with $10. Appreciate you. I grew up in Dalton and moved to Kansas City in the mid-70s. I'm shocked at what has happened to the village. It used to be Dalton Pool, 4th of July parade and carnival. Great neighbors. Wow. I think there's still great people there. It's just this situation they're going to have to kind of weather. Last couple of years of dealing with her. This is what we're doing. Trump won. I just want to read this quote. Are you taking over the Carter? No, we're taking over the adults. Yeah. When I've heard some of the stuff that they're, again, I'll show you guys in the recut, that they're changing the names of the credit card statements to avoid prosecution. Where first it said this, but now it's saying something totally different. I think it is straight like the Carter. When Nito Brown realized that the entire thing was caught, the cops know what's happening. He told G Money, I think he stabbed him in his hand at that point and said, you got to burn the whole thing down. It was a $3 million a week business. You destroyed it because you brought this guy in here that wasn't a real drug dealer. And then I think he strangled Christopher Williams. Dreamin' is one of my favorite songs of all time. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I'm aging myself, but Dreaming is an amazing song. But anyway, destroying everything, burning down the building, blah, 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 blah. This is what she's doing. It looks like they're going to find ways to either destroy evidence, alter evidence, because they know that the investigations, are, the FBI is around. So that's what I think is going to probably happen. And Sherry says she received a doctored FOIA. So they don't even give a damn. They're like, oh, we know why you want this. We did something bad, but we're gonna lie and be deceitful and change anyway. Actually, anything happened to this? No, not yet. Actually, we can watch that little 30-second clip. So she called anyone who disagrees with her the devil. Let me see if I can find where that is. I don't know if you guys saw it. So she had I think the township meeting. The Lansing Journal had this video. She's fighting against the devil. So the mayor is saying, listen, I'm good. I'm fighting against the devil, right? Let's see exactly what she's talking about. She's fighting against the devil here.
Research. I keep listening to people and no one's showing you fact. They keep telling you fiction, fake story, fake news, like for real, stop. But go check, guys, if you really want to know the truth so you can understand what it is that we're fighting over. I'm basically fighting against the devil, the evil spirits. I'm the good spirit, they the evil spirit, because I never see nobody try to tear down people this much. We in the news every single day. Y'all, if y'all ain't got it, I don't know what to tell you. I am a black single parent, and I get beat up on every day because y'all want what Frank Zuccarelli had. He been here for 30 years. 30 years, I ain't see y'all question none. I ain't see y'all show up. I ain't see y'all make no noise about nothing that been going on in this township. It's a lot. But no one said nothing. Everybody was sitting on mute. But now, all of a sudden, everybody got something to say. Why? Because the person, the little engine that could got the seat. The one y'all didn't see coming got the seat. I understand. People get upset because when it's not the typical way, and it's a way that God, because only God can place you where he wants you at, no matter what y'all trying to tear down, you can't tear down something that God gave to you. So that's what the issue is right now. So this is my way of trying to educate the public or people here. But go and research things before y'all start believing the hype, because at the end of the day, they'll make you believe in something that's really good for you, and you'll tear it down before that you see the good opportunity in it. I'll say
that was a fantastic speech, explaining nothing, not telling us why everyone's lying or who's evil. Like, okay, we're evil, you're good. Explain why that's happening. It's fake news. Okay, what is the fake and what's real? Explain it. Where's the podcast? You showed one little clip and you said that Larry was lying. Okay, any more information other than this same ranting nonsense?
I'm just trying to make sure that y'all feel me. Next on the agenda.
We don't feel you. Clearly, we do not feel you. That's the problem. You talk about fighting spirits. Okay, so you're fighting some negative forces. I guess you're calling anyone who criticizes you a detractor, evil spirits. She represents the good spirits. She's frustrated with people not doing their own research. There's a lot of people doing research, and it shows that you're not honest and you're taking taxpayer money and using it for yourself and people that's loyal to you. So we are doing some research. A lot of people like Stephanie, and there's a lot of people out there who are looking, they're asking for information. FOIA, they're asking for the information and you're changing it. So what is we talking about in terms of fake news and fiction, all that type of thing? And she feels like she's targeted and criticized daily. Yeah, because it looks like you're doing a lot of things wrong. And it's not because you're a black single parent or a black woman in power. I know she used those identity identifiers to try to gain sympathy for people. The people who are after you, who are criticizing you, are black. Many of them, they may be single parents. They may be married. It doesn't even matter. They're going after you because of your behavior and what you have done so far. Jerry says, she always says research things. We research and produce receipts. Then she gets on camera and becomes the biggest liar on the planet. Yeah. I mean, she lied to Roland. She lied to Angela Lee. She lies to, like, even that little, she's upset. She has a little bit of a tantrum right there. But she's not saying anything. Like, you're not telling us. Okay, tell us what we're doing wrong. What is everyone getting incorrect? And then you can produce that. A $5 super chat from John. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of the love. Definitely. And everyone who's already super chatted. If you guys please hit like on this one. We got 1,300 people here. Hit like, subscribe. I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers. Really appreciate that. I'm part of the detractors. I'm part of the evil spirit. I'm criticizing a single black mother. We're all evil. She's doing everything. She's suggesting that her critics that the critics, like myself and many others, are upset because she has achieved this position. She got this position, unexpectedly, against all traditional expectations. And we hating. It's not like she just said we're hating. We hating on her. Stop it. Encourage everyone to research, ask a FOIA request, even though they will be altered. But, she's trying to get some more positive opportunities or I guess positive support. And it sounds like a little ridiculous. Disagreeing with Tiffany Henyard's stance, obviously, like using this metaphor of fighting against the devil and all that stuff. We are examining her leadership and her actions as the mayor of Dalton and the township supervisor. The recent developments and allegations against her paint a picture that is a complete opposite of this self-righteous image that she's trying to project. I am the dream. I'm basically Martin Luther King and Harriet Tubman and Marcus Garvey. All of them wrap up to one. I am all those people. But your leadership, Mayor, has been destroyed by controversy after controversy, after lawsuit, allegations of misconduct. You have allegations that you've buried a sexual assault, that one of your loyal trustees sexually assaulted someone, drugged her, took her to his room, did something in the sexual nature, obviously. She came to you, you buried it, allegedly. That sounds like, I don't think that's a good spirit. Like what have you been doing, which has been documented, and some of the allegations contradict your narrative of being a force for good, fighting against evil. These allegations are suggesting that you have a lot of evil spirits in you. So this portrayal of external forces at play is because you have brought energy that is so negative, so toxic, that you will get an opposite reaction. The forces of good pushing against you, and you don't like that. I just missed this super chat. We're gonna put this real quick. I'll say 49.99 super chat from Jen Relax. Appreciate you. 50 bones for 50K and for being on the side of good. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. And it's all, of course, where there's I don't believe like angels and demons in terms of everyone's all good and all bad. Like, we all make mistakes, we all have issues, but when you have a pattern of being bad, making bad decisions as a leader, right? Bad financial decisions, spending thousands of dollars on Christmas lights, thousands of dollars on banners with your face all over it, right? Taking all these trips, all these unnecessary trips, shows that the mayor is not great with the money. The money that's not hers is the taxpayers. So she's not good with money. She's not good with hiring. So the people that she brought in, most of them have some kind of shady background, whether they have a lot of crimes. Some literally have sexual assault. They have sexual assault. She tried to bring that person on to work. One I showed before had dealing with silencers on his guns. It's like you don't even know how to hire. You don't know how to take care of the money. And then also, you're not good with leadership in general. The way you talk to people, if working at a major corporation, again, it may never be a major corporation. She should have been fired a long time ago. Even if you're talking about a coach for a little league team, the way she speaks to the people, you've been fired. You can't even run a little league team. So, to be honest, I don't think you can run anything. So, let's think about it. Henyard's constantly absent from crucial meetings, right? Where her leadership and financial decisions were questioned, raised concerns about her accountability for transparency. So, like, there's so many issues here that her calling, anyone an evil spirit just seems a little ridiculous, right? Anyone who criticizes her, like, this is a unanimous decision, right? 4 out of the 6 Dalton trustees wanted to investigate Henyard's alleged misuse of funds. And the other 2 are sycophants and loyalists, and one allegedly is a total creep and should be behind bars. But again, allegedly, we'll see what happens later on. But these trustees were elected to represent and protect the interests of the residents. That's why they voiced the concerns about the financial mismanagement under Henyard's administration. Why are we spending $20,000 on banners with your dumb face on it? How does that help anybody? Like, it doesn't. So, like, the good, you say the good trustees, their actions are reflecting a commitment to proper governance and the welfare of the community, challenging Henyard's narrative that she's being on the sole force of good. And I know I did see a comment early on before we got into the live, saying that she is fighting for good. And I wish if I had a chance with this individual to email me, I would love to bring you on and you can tell us exactly what you're talking about. But I don't see that there. The chat's kind of going crazy, but this is a disconnect here. Especially a lot of the residents who finally are going to the meetings, they are able to voice them. They voice their issues, their concerns with Henyard to her face in these meetings. there's a disconnect between her perception of what's going on and the community's perspective. A leader, right? A true leader who fights for the good of their community should have the support and trust of the community. So far, it looks like that's not happening. The community trust is being erased, the little bit that's there. So the fact that so many of the community and the residents are backing trustees' actions shows that Henyard doesn't know what she's talking about. Everyone is repeating the same stuff: transparency, accountability, returning to ethical leadership. It's a desire that is contradicting Henyard's narrative. I mean, there's so many lawsuits. I can't keep up. I mean, there was another one I saw, another news, like the three employees. Let's see if I can find that video. Let's pop that up real quick.
People are suing Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard after they say they were wrongfully fired. Sandra Tracy is a former human resource manager for Thornton Township. Karen Johnson is a former Dalton Public Works Department administrative assistant. And Shamisha Williams is the former director of Dalton's Buildings, Permits, and License Department. All of them say they were terminated for refusing to do political campaign work for Henyard. Henyard, who is also Thornton Township supervisor, is accused of using village money for personal reasons. She has denied those allegations. We've reached out to the Village of Dalton for comment. We have not yet heard back.
Watch breaking.
So like the hits keep coming. She just keeps racking up lawsuit after lawsuit. And then we still got that trustee, the unnamed trustee. By this point, a lot of people already have an idea who that person is. I have a question for that person, or at least, again, I can't confirm it or deny it, but Andrew Holmes, right? Is Andrew Holmes going to show his face to the next meeting, or he's going to step down? If you had a bet, do you think he's going to stay on, or he's going to quit before the next board meeting? What you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if you think that guy is actually going to come and sit down and put his head down and look like he's don't want to be there. Actually, there was a good video. I want to show you guys this video real quick. Hopefully, let me see if I can find it first. Of showing a little bit of body language on exactly. You can tell there's, I don't know. We don't know exactly if he is the person, but most likely he is. It's a good chance he is. But how he looks in these meetings, I didn't really notice because he doesn't talk. He doesn't do it. He doesn't say anything. But clearly, his body language kind of tells me that there's something up. And this video really broke it down. Let me see if I could pop it up. My internet is terrible today. That's the problem when you're in the basement. I'm trying to move, y'all, but finding an apartment in Brooklyn is crazy. Like, I've been looking at some 2-bedroom apartments because I ain't got enough money to get the house yet. So 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. There's 2 bedrooms right now. They're in Brooklyn for $3,500 a month. $3,500. Some are $36, $37. Imagine paying $3,700 a month to live in an apartment. That's a problem in New York City. Well, that's my problem. I should move, but can't do that right now. Let me show what I'm talking about here. Yes. So shout out to this channel. Actually, I'm gonna put the link in this real quick. I want to make sure you guys can subscribe to this channel because I liked how she broke this down on some of the body language with Andrew Holmes.
Welcome back to the breakdown. And what we're going to do today is really break some things down. I want to take a look at this piece of this video from the regular board meeting in the Village of Dalton, June 5th, 2023. This would be the meeting immediately after Tiffany and them returned from Las Vegas. Now, the meeting prior to this, the person I suspect to be the trustee who's causing this recent sexual misconduct investigation. I believe Andrew Holmes is the trustee in question. He wasn't in the meeting in May. He actually was absent. He was the only trustee that was absent, but he was in this meeting, and he does stand along.
Damn it! I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to do like 3 different things. I clicked it off. Give me a second. I'll bring it back up. I pressed the wrong damn button. That's me clicking too many different things. Okay, let's bring that back. Okay, cool.
Stanley Brown, which is the other trustee that may have been in Las Vegas, but their body language is completely different. Tiffany Henyard's interaction with them is completely different, and I'd like us to see what guilt looks like. So we begin with, I don't know who this person is, but he's given a quick introduction. They're getting ready to swear an officer in. And I think it's important to see this here because this is where Andrew Holmes usually shines. He is the chair of the Police and Fire Committee for the Village of Dalton, and he should be completely comfortable here, but he immediately puts his hands behind his back. And if you ask me, throughout this entire interaction, he looks completely uncomfortable.
So I saw this video and I was like, this is definitely on. Oh, there's no sound? I thought it'd be sound. Give me a second. Oh, there's no sound. Let me know if there's no sound. I can replay it because that's extreme. If you guys can't hear, let me know. I can restart it. But basically, this is a meeting around the time that after the Las Vegas trip, they're going to, I guess, they're swearing in a new officer, and he does not look comfortable. So I'm gonna repeat it. Hopefully, the sound should be working. But let's see. The sound should be working. Okay, sounds fine. Okay, but let me do it one more time. Me go all the way to the beginning. Let me turn it up. Make sure that everything is playing. Okay.
Welcome back to the breakdown. And what we're going to do today is really break some things down. I want to take a look at this piece of this video from the regular board meeting in the Village of Dalton, June 5th, 2023. This would be the meeting immediately after Tiffany and them returned from Las Vegas. Now, the meeting prior to this, the person I suspect to be the trustee who's causing this recent sexual misconduct investigation, I believe Andrew Holmes is the trustee in question. He wasn't in the meeting in May. He actually was absent. He was the only trustee that was absent, but he was in this meeting, and he does stand alongside Stanley Brown, which is the other trustee that may have been in Las Vegas, but their body language is completely different. Tiffany Henyard's interaction with them is completely different, and I'd like us to see what guilt looks like. So we begin with, I don't know who this person is, but he's given a quick introduction. They're getting ready to swear an officer in. And I think it's important to see this here because this is where Andrew Holmes usually shines. He is the chair of the Police and Fire Committee for the Village of Dalton, and he should be completely comfortable here, but he immediately puts his hands behind his back. And if you ask me, throughout this entire interaction, he looks completely uncomfortable.
All right, so you're going to repeat after me.
He keeps his hands behind his back the entire time.
Torian Monaghan.
I'll give it up.
And you don't really see Tiffany interact with him in the way that she should, with an officer being sworn in and the chair of the Police and Fire Committee present.
Do you guys notice that though? I mean, that's a little bit of, that seems a little like there's some issues there. Like, this Andrew Holmes look a little guilty, uncomfortable, definitely uncomfortable. And he's like, damn, if you didn't do anything wrong, you may have to worry about that. But I'm interested to know. But that was really good. I mean, I do appreciate. Yeah, she does amazing stuff. And the more the better. I mean, I think everyone should have their voice on what's going on. But I like this breakdown. I saw this right after some of the news that we've noticed about what's going on with, that's we're suspecting that Andrew Holmes is in a lot of trouble. He looks extremely uncomfortable. Like he was just there, just to be there. And yeah, you think about it though. This is supposed to be a good moment. Swearing in this officer, and everyone looks happy except him.
You think she would be more interactive with him?
In the county of Cook, do solely swear
and even as this officer is being sworn in,
that I will support
Trustee Andrew Holmes seems disconnected.
I agree.
He doesn't have a lot of affect. He doesn't have a lot of charisma or involvement. And as we know, he usually has a whole lot to say.
That's true. I've seen so many. There's a lot of videos about him on YouTube. Either he's in some kind of situation. He's always around. I didn't know that he. And then what I've heard, talking to many people, that he's not from there, but he's a big name that came in here to, I guess, to help out with the situation, be one of Henyard's lackeys. But he's the name. And you notice if you just type his name up on YouTube, there's a lot of little stories about him. I mean, there's one, and the late night crew kind of broke it down, where we're supposed to believe that this old man ran several blocks to detain somebody because they had a car accident. We're supposed to believe that story. I've seen him moving and walking around. I don't know if he's able to stop someone back running many blocks, stopping this person who knows the person and tell him, I gotta detain you. Like, okay. But it was a really funny segment on that stream. But he does not look comfortable here, though.
Dalton, to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Now, Trustee Stan Brown is right here, and we see him clapping. We see him leaning forward.
Commander Lacey is going to do.
Andrew Holmes is still disconnected and looking really guilty, if you ask me. Tiffany isn't really talking to him. Stan Brown patted him on the shoulder as he slid over to the side.
Where's the smile, Andrew Holmes?
Look at their interaction. Now, the reason I put these two side by side is because these would be the only two male trustees that were with Tiffany Henyard in Las Vegas. And their body language is completely different. Even when they come together to take this picture, look at his face.
Look at that face. Smile, bro. Or maybe you don't have anything to smile about. Could you do something wrong? I don't know. Trial Angel with the $3 super chat. Appreciate you. Much love. Oh, and another $10 super chat from Trial Angel. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for all of the love so far. Just amazing. Appreciate you. Hit the like as well. But look at this face. That's not a face of someone that it looks like a guilty person. He looks like he did something wrong. Tag, yeah. There's a good question. The good comment right here. He has a lot on his mind. You know when you did something wrong, and hopefully nothing like this, but let's say for just a small minor situation that's heavy on your mind, that it's hard to kind of move on with the rest of your day. I mean, if this is true, this man should be in jail already. He should be in prison. If the allegations are true, if he drugged a woman and had his way with her in Vegas, he needs to be in prison. But again, it's all alleged, and we'll see exactly who's the person, even though we all kind of know who the person is. And the people who were behind burying this, if this person was assaulted and Henyard told this person that, well, this is going to ruin me, don't worry, I'll take care of it, and then put her on unpaid sick leave and then fire her, then the one police officer that said, hey, this guy bragged to me about this, he gets demoted. If these things are true, there's not just Holmes or just the person who did this. there should be more people getting some kind of criminal prosecution. There should be charges being levied if these things are true. And when you look at this man's face, he looks like he doesn't look like he it looks like he did something wrong. I'll just say it that way. Trying to say it as well as I can without necessarily doing the direct accusation. Again, everything is all alleged, but I don't know.
Now, you know, Tiffany don't feel no guilt or shame, but Andrew might have a little humanity in him. But look at his
He done
face.
messed up.
If you notice, everybody walks around him during this interaction because he doesn't move. He doesn't interact with anybody. And he walks around and squeezes Jason House on the shoulder. I would have punched that nigga in his gut.
I forgot that one. That was funny. But I tell you, I want to know again. What do you guys think? You think he will be at the next meeting? I'm going to say I don't think he's going to be there. There's no way. I don't think he's going to be there. If he does, that's a lot of balls. Because I think if you were innocent, you need to come in front of this head on. In my opinion, we shouldn't be still asking who's the unnamed trustee. If you have not done anything wrong, you need to step up publicly and denounce this. Not just talk to reporters, behind the scenes. You need to step up and like, yo, this ain't me. Like Jason House straight up, like I wasn't there. Don't put my name in anything. Don't put me in anything. I wasn't there. I was like, okay, we all have an idea of who the person is. If this is not true, you need to step up and be public with it. I feel like there's something happened. Something is up. So I'm wondering if he's going to be there. Sherry says I'm leaning towards no. He might step down. I think he's going to step down. Mike says, or at least not show up. Okay, so the difference between, is he going to show up? I say no. But in terms of stepping down, like literally like saying, I'm going to resign my position, maybe. Mike says no show. Miss Terry says Holmes will not be there. Because he will be arrested. We'll see what's going, like how long it's going to take. Like all these investigations. I mean, this happened in June, but things were buried, things were hidden. So we're thinking, okay, now things are kind of brought to light. There's some lawsuits involved. I mean, the statute of limitations is still there. Is it statute or statute? I think it's statute. But anyway, that's a Seinfeld thing. Yeah, we'll see. This is a secret squirrel meeting. And this is an evil spirit secret squirrel meeting. This is where the evil spirits come together to talk amongst ourselves as we plot against the good, which is apparently the Superman. She's the beacon of hope and the light of everybody. She's a single black mother in power. How many other things? She's a black woman in power. Now she's a single black woman in power. But everyone telling me that she's not single. And then I see a lot of pictures with the same individual. Did they break up? Hey, you know what? It's not my business. But I'm just letting you know that it didn't look like she was single, but I guess now she's single. She's single, but maybe she broke up with the person that we're talking about that also is involved with buying properties, doing a lot of shady stuff. And maybe we'll talk about that on Tuesday. I think we're gonna do a two live next week. Tuesday, let's talk about more of Kamal Woods and some of his environment. We already have a little bit of that. We talked about that, where he is sharing the same agent for properties with Tiffany Henyard, the same property that was from the foundation, basically the debunked foundation that did not help anybody with anything except enrich herself and her friends and the people that she's with. So, Hannibal, her daughter, has a great father. Gotcha. But she's single now. or again, there was no, the Commonwealth is not, I guess, official there, but that's either near there. But we're going to talk more about Commonwealth because he's being paid 6 figures to be the youth director. So he's a part of this, and there's a lot of information out there that shows that he has been enriching himself with some of his properties out around here. So we're gonna be talking about that on we'll probably talk about on Tuesday about some of this stuff because there's so much trace. It's digital, like we call it a paper trail. Well, like the digital trail is even worse because it's harder to get rid of that. Yeah, they'll do the Nito Brown thing and burn down papers. That movie was in the 90s where the internet didn't, internet wasn't a big deal. But it's hard to put that together, like to get away with that. So we will talk about that and more. Clarification. Yeah. And I'm aware, but making sure that no, she has, obviously a single parent mother with a child, but is not child's father. So yeah, that's good to kind of put that together. And again, I don't necessarily care about who she's with, but the problem is whatever relationship she has with this individual, there's some shadiness going on where he's enriching himself with some properties, but we'll talk about that on Tuesday. Let's see. But yeah, guys, we'll see what's going to happen next couple of days. It's like every day there's something going on. But appreciate Stephanie for coming in, clarifying a lot of things, showing that she's just been trying to discipline, position herself. I think the information about her trying to keep a salary rate that she shouldn't have, that's unethical. Obviously bringing in people who had no affiliation with anything with the taxpayers, taking them on trips to taxpayers' dime, that's wrong. Mixing in all this personal stuff with the taxpayer stuff with different types of, it's all probably illegal. So I appreciate Stephanie for coming in, kind of clearing that up. And I appreciate some of the new members. I see new member Success and Sobriety. Appreciate you. I see Miss Terry. Appreciate you. And I appreciate all of the super chats that came through. Late Night Crew, Anton, Casey, Kat, George, John, Just Jen, and Triangel. Appreciate everyone with their super chats. And thank you for Superman Tiffany Henyard. Next up is she going to be super present. Appreciate. Yeah, there's a lot of funny parody accounts all over the place. And also, if you believe or you still with the mayor and you think that she is being pursued by the devil and she's being railroaded, please email me. I would love to talk to you. There'll be a civil conversation. There's no arguments. No one's going to be calling your names or anything like that. But I want to know people who still believe in her. I really do. I would like to talk to you and let me know what everyone is getting wrong. What are the misconceptions? Do you think that she's not spending the money irresponsibly? Do you think she's doing everything correct and she's doing nothing wrong? I would like to know because I would love to have that conversation because 99% of people I've talked to realize there's a problem. So I would love to talk to that 1%. I mean, I would like to have that conversation because it's important to get all perspectives. Let us know why you think everyone is wrong and Tiffany's right. Because right now we're still waiting for that podcast. I think probably her lawyer said, no, you bonehead, you can't have a podcast. Like, what are you talking about? You have 45,000 lawsuits against you. You barely figuring out what's going on right now. That you got this Andrew Holmes allegedly. You cannot podcast. What are you talking about? I mean, we could do another bet right now, but right before I leave, though, do you think this podcast actually is going to be released? I'm going to say no. I think there will be no podcast release. There's no way. I don't think so. But let me know what you guys think. You can put in the comments as well. Do you think that this podcast will be released? If it does, I may immediately, if I have nothing going on, I may immediately just run down here and me and you, we'll all just listen to it. There's like a video one too. So we'll just sit there, press play and just see and maybe stop, take a shot every time she lies. Take a shot if she lies. Who won't play that game? Who wants to finish watching that podcast and be so blitzed and so lit because the lies that's gonna be flying out of her? But maybe we'll see. Mike says, is it going on Tubi? What's going on with the Tubi? I don't think I've seen any. I don't think I've seen anything on. It just didn't look great. Like Tubi doesn't look. But I watch old stuff now. Like I still watch. I'm on Pluto TV watching old episodes of Supermarket Sweep. So I'm boring. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be released. But we'll see. A lot of times when she goes rogue, you can tell when she not listening to people she's supposed to be listening to. She kind of does her own things. So maybe she does. And that would be fantastic if she does. Steve Strack says there's a lot of nasty comments towards her, and she's getting a lot of bad comments all over the place. But it seems like that doesn't affect her. Like you'll think at this point, most politicians would just quit and step down. Like this is just not working well for me. I'm looking terribly. I'm not going to be able to continue this. But she don't give an F. Clearly, at this point, if she's not going to step down now, after all the news that we've seen over the last week, then it looks like she may not step down at all. So, I mean, it'll be great if she did, but we'll see on that one. But guys, appreciate you guys for sticking out with me, hanging out with me for an hour or so. We'll be back Tuesday. So next week will be Tuesday and Thursday. I want to come down more talking about Kamal Woods, some of those property stuff I want to talk to you guys about. So we're going to talk about that and more. But appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.